Hi guys, so now we're in the next portion of our video where we're gonna look at factory overhead costs. But before we do that, as I've done in prior videos, I just want to show you guys a recap of how we get our direct labor costs and just kind of what sections it come from in a just a prettier version of what I usually write. So you guys can see exactly where everything goes and you can understand it better. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on, remembering that whenever we choose to produce an item or manufacture an item, we need three things. We need direct materials, which we've already looked at. We need direct labor, which we've done in the prior video. And then we also need factory overhead like factory overhead. And so, like we've done in all the other videos, when we're looking at factory overhead, we're trying to budget this cost, right? So factory overhead estimates the cost for each item of factory overhead needed to support budgeted production. And they're typically separated into variable and fixed to monitor and evaluate cost. Now, in this particular example, we won't go over factory overhead, but just as a reminder, factory overhead are those indirect factory wages, the supervisor salaries, maybe things like power and light and depreciation, indirect material, maintenance, insurance and property taxes, all of those are considered factory overheads. And so that's where you dedicate your time to maybe projecting or formulating a budget for each of those, okay? All right, so now what we're gonna do is now take a look at our cost of goods sold budget. Now this is prepared by consolidating our direct material purchase budget, our direct labor costs, factory overhead costs, and all of those, right? So the estimated and desired inventories for direct materials, work in process, and finished goods must be integrated into the cost of goods sold budget. So now remember back to chapter 1 when we talked about the cost of goods manufactured, right? And then the cost of goods sold. This is where all of this comes into play. So this will be a good challenge for us. So with that, we're going to do this breakout session, and now we're going to look at our cost of goods sold. So what I would like to do is go ahead and stop this video because it's going to take a while for us to fill it all in, and I want to make sure I get it all in one session without breaking it up, okay? So maybe what you guys can do is take a second and see if you can start figuring it out. So pause it or work on it yourself, and then let's see if we can come back together and figure out or fill out the cost of goods sold budget,